So in this video, we are going to be looking at HTML tables where we display data in rows and column. As you can see, this is a row, then this is column coming from top to bottom. So table allows us to arrange data into row and column, such as information of let's say probably people, random people from the environment. We say, okay, which company, and contacts, and the country that the company is located. So these are informations that can be grouped into rows and column. Here a particular company, then it will have its contacts here, and the country the person is from or the company is located. So if I want to have personal data of probably let's say 5 individuals, I can say, okay, person's name, then yeah, person's age, person's contact, person's country. So everybody will have their data on a row. Then for each role, they have similar data such as contact address or the country they are from. So table allow us to achieve this by setting it in our HTML. So we achieve this using the table elements. As you can see, the table element here, then which has row, data are presented in row, and as you can see, we have this first row that holds these several data such as company, contact, and country. Then on the second row, we have the data of probably a particular company. So here we have Alfred, Flosky, and Maria, and Germany. So this particular row belongs to one particular person. So now let's look at how to achieve this. We define the table element. Then for the first row, that is where we define that particular heading, which means, okay, the first row, I only want heading to be there. So to do that, I say, okay, the heading tr represents the table role, then th represents the table head, and td represents the table data. So the table head holds the table name like this: company, contact, and the country. Whereas this particular person or particular person data is represented using the td, which is the table data. So now probably we should just copy and paste this in our code, so we can now explain on those. I go back into my code here, I close this, and I create a new file that I call table.html. Then I hit enter, and yeah, my basic structure using this, and I say, okay, the title here is table, and now I come down here to say, okay, whatever I have is going to be in the table element, and this is the table tag. Then it's each the tag has particular row. So this is the first row, second row, and this is the third row. And in the first row, what are those things that will be present there? It is the table header. So whatever I'm going to be defining will be in the th tag, that is table head tag. And for the first column, I have company, second column, contact, and country, which is the table head. So I would like to comment this out so that we can see the effect of this on our web page. Now I save my file and I go back to my folder, and okay, this table, so I will say open by double clicking so that it can take me to my Chrome browser. And as you can see, I only have company, contact, country. It's not looking so good, but let's continue with what we have. So gradually I will uncomment this, and let's see what we have on this second row. Here we have the second role again, which is tr. It's holding a particular person's data, which is the person's company, the company, the contact, and the country, which is Germany in this case. So everything here represented in the td element. And the third one here is just another detail, which is the company and the contacts and the location, which is the country. So I save the file and I go back here to refresh my page, and as you can see, company is holding this and contact is holding this, country is holding this, but it's not looking as nice as what I have in what I have above here, it's not looking as nice as that. So let us look at some other stuff that we can get ourselves familiar with. Each table cell is defined using the TD and the closing TD tag, which stand for table data, as I explained earlier, which is individual information. So the table row is, that is the TR, is used to define a row of data, just like we have seen, and the table header, which is the TH, is used to define the head of the table. That is what we have there. So now let's set table border. That is to have something like this. How can we achieve that? It's either we use CSS, or we use the HTML. So I can just say table, then I set border to 1 pixel solid black. So better still, I just copy this code and I go back into our code editor. There are two ways at which we can achieve that. I can just say, okay, let's go to the CSS way, and I say, okay, to go to the CSS way, I need my style tag first. Then in this style tag, I have my table, that is the selector table D and th. Yes, so these are the selector. Then I set the border property to probably 1 pixel. Then I say solid. You look at how to set all this in CSS deeply. Solid black. Then yeah, I save my file and I go back here. So if coming back here, I refresh my page, and as you can see, everything is having border. It's looking much better. But what if I don't want each cell, that is, this is a cell, particular cell, and this another particular cell? What if I don't want each cell to have its own border like this? I just want a complete border like this. Then what to do in that case is to use the collapse to use the border collapse property in CSS. So here everything will be looking separated, but this one is looking like each cell have its own border. So to take that out, you use the border collapse property, then set its value to collapse, and you can also style table whatever way you want. So let's see the effect of this in our code. I copy and I go back into my code, then I paste and save my file, and we go back again, then refresh, and as you can see, it has taken change. So now there is one thing that is not looking actually good here. I can say, okay, for this each cell I want something different. Let's look at what we have here. Okay, I can say, okay, I want this border style to be radial, like it should be rounded. That's border radius. We will look at that when we are looking at CSS in deep. And here I can only set just the cells and forget about the table. That is the table selector, which should take this outer part, then just the th and td element, which is the table data and the table head, that will be having this rounded stuff. And I can also set the border style, which the default is just solid. Here we have several other style: dotted, dash, solid. Yeah, this one you can always explore on that, and we can set the border color also to another color that you probably like. But let's look at spacing of these elements. As you can see, with padding, with spacing, let's now see the difference between those two. So I can say selector th and td, then I set the padding to be 15 pixel, and yeah, so I can set padding top, bottom, left, right. So all this will be getting more familiar with them in our CSS code, but let's for the first, let's look at their effects in our code here. So I just go down here and I paste what I've just copied, and yes, I need to indent this properly so that at least I will achieve what I want. Then I save my file, I go back, then go back to the preview and refresh. As you can see, everything now has some space and it's looking much nice. So if you want to learn more about stable, you can always go into the material and study on them in particular. Thank you, and follow up with more videos.